Welcome to your weekly astrology forecast. My name is Adina. I'm an intuitive astrologer, and in these weekly videos, I go over the astrological energies for the week ahead. And in this video, I will be going over the energy for January 8th to the 14th, 2024. Now, if you align with my energy and enjoy my content, don't forget to subscribe and like this video. Now, before I get into the energies for the week ahead, I like to touch on some of the energy shifts that took place last week or the previous week. So we had Mars enter Capricorn January 4th. And I really love this energy coming into the new year because Mars is exalted in Capricorn, meaning that Mars does very well in Capricorn. Mars is more than a welcomed guest. Mars is on vacation right now. And Mars ruling our motivation, willpower, drive, how we take action. We have so much supportive energy right now to start building, to start creating. Capricorn can be a very hardworking, determined energy. And so having Mars in Capricorn, and then also this week, having Mars forming a trine to Jupiter, and then Jupiter and Mars forming a sextile to Saturn, this week especially, we have a lot of supportive energy to start building and creating something sustainable, something foundational, and something that can be very long lasting, that can really last, not just 2024, but beyond. And this could be around, business, career, any projects that you're wanting to initiate for 2024. We have the supportive energy to do so. Now, because this week we have on January 11th, we have our new moon in Capricorn. I will be making a separate video going into the chart for the new moon in Capricorn and then also getting into all 12 rising signs. So make sure you watch for that because there is a lot of coinciding energy with this new moon. And this year we have 2 full moons in Capricorn, which is also really interesting because the intentions that we set at the time of this new moon in Capricorn, there's more of this powerful manifestation energy with the 2 full moons. So I'll be getting into all of that in the new moon forecast. But coming into the week on Monday, January 8th, we have the Mercury square to Neptune, and this is an ongoing saga. We've been dealing with this Mercury square to Neptune energy since the end of November, when Mercury first formed a square to Neptune, and then Mercury squared Neptune again while Mercury was retrograde in Sagittarius. So just Mercury being in Sagittarius, this could be like a reprogramming of our beliefs, philosophies, religion. And then now we have on Monday the final square between Mercury and Neptune. Now Mercury ruling our mind and how we think, Neptune making things very confusing, cloudy. This can create illusions, delusions. This could be very manic energy. This could be a not knowing the decisions to make. And so think back, what have you really been thinking, overthinking, reevaluating, around a certain decision, some thoughts that maybe you've been struggling with. This is the final square. And so that can become intense on Monday, January 8th, when we do have that final square. However, it's almost like because this is the ending to this saga, it's like there could be like a final confusion on, whatever you've been rethinking and reevaluating, but it's starting to become a lot more clearer now because Mercury is direct. Mercury is no longer retrograde. So there could be like a final understanding of, okay, I've been overthinking things, or okay, I've been creating these scenarios in my head, getting in my own way, towards something. It'll look different for all of us, but it is a very confusing energy. And it is where we can overthink things and get in our own way. Our thoughts can get in our own way, based maybe on fears or illusions that we create in our head. And so we are still in that energy. However, we are starting to come out of it. And on Monday, it will come exact. Now, also on Monday is when we have Mars forming that sextile to Saturn. So we have this really strong, powerful, powerful Mars that is extremely motivational. And determined. This is a very powerful, determined Mars in Capricorn, forming a sextile to Saturn. So there can be, some really big opportunities coming up, whether it's around relationships, whether it's around business, and it all depends on how this is falling in your personal birth chart. But there is opportunity here to expand, to grow, to create, to build something, like I mentioned before, very foundational, sustainable, that can last. And so, however this looks like for you, if right now your main focus is relationships, then this is relationships for you. If right now you're building a business, this is business for you. This is amazing business energy. Capricorn represents, business, hard work, and Saturn, ruling Capricorn, having that sextile to Jupiter this week and Mars. We do have a lot of supportive energy to start building and creating, businesses or making decisions in careers, maybe moving forward within a career. Now, another energy that I want to mention that we will be navigating for pretty much the entire week is the sun forming a T-square to the nodes. And even this new moon in Capricorn is going to be T-square the nodes. And coming into the week is when we have the sun at about 17, 18 degrees on Monday. And this is when it starts to build up, because we have the nodes at 20 degrees of Aries, 20 degrees of Leo. That new moon is at 20 degrees of Capricorn. So there is an exact T-square, but it starts with the sun forming a T-square to the nodes Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We have the new moon. And then as we exit the week, things start to clear out, and there's a final understanding of the decision or choice that needs to be made, because this T-square is tension and challenge with a direction or a choice. We want to remember that the nodes are very fated, very karmic energy. The north node represents a new direction, something new that we're moving into, and the south node represents the past or something that we're having to release and let go of. And the south node is also what is known to us, and so there could be a lot of tension coming into the week and throughout the week, on a decision or choice that you need to make. Now, on Tuesday, we have the sun forming a trine to Uranus, and I want you to pay attention to your intuitive downloads on Tuesday, because this can really help you navigate this energy, this tension that is created with the sun and the sun representing the self, our identity, our consciousness, and forming a T-square to the nodes. When we have the sun form a trine to Uranus, there can be something really beautiful showing up to help guide you through this T-square. So I hope that makes sense, because there is a decision this week that you're going to have to make, or a choice. There may even be something that you have to release and let go of in order to move in this new direction. So pay attention on Tuesday to what is showing up for you intuitively, energetically, even physically, because it is the sun, it is in Capricorn, and Uranus is in Taurus, so it can even be, physically, but there could be like an aha moment, and we know that aha moments are intuitive downloads. So pay attention to, what you're feeling and what is showing up for you on Tuesday. Now, where this can become difficult is because also on Tuesday, we will have the moon still in Sagittarius forming a conjunction to Mercury, which will then be squaring Neptune. And so this is where feelings, emotions, and our mind can be getting in the way. We don't want to be overthinking. So, this could be, something showing up for you intuitively, and it can be very hard to discern when it has to do with like your mind and what you're feeling emotionally and your intuition and what is right for you. And so where Tuesday, we want to be paying attention to that sun trine to Uranus and the aha moment. But it can be difficult to discern. And so, really taking care of your energy on Tuesday is going to be crucial, so that and really grounding, like doing what you need to do to ground, because it can be an overthinking day with that Mercury square to Neptune, things can be confusing. This is where you can be overthinking things or creating certain scenarios, like worrying on, based on maybe past traumas or past life experiences or whatever the case is. So we really do want to have that discernment on Tuesday. And also remember that on Tuesday, we have the moon conjunct Mercury forming a square to Neptune. And so don't make any, big decisions on Tuesday, because there could be something that you're not seeing clearly, something that is just not clear, that's confusing. You don't have all the answers yet. And even how you're feeling could be very confusing because of that moon energy. Now, that will start to subside as we enter, Tuesday night, when the moon eventually enters Capricorn. And then on Wednesday, the moon will be in Capricorn and form in conjunction to Mars. And this is where there could be a lot more clearer energy and emotions on a certain direction. However, this is when the sun gets to 19 degrees. So that tension on decisions and choices can become a lot more intense. And it's the moon conjunct Mars, and this is a very strong Mars, and the moon representing our feelings and emotions. So emotions can definitely be heightened on Wednesday. Mars can represent anger, aggression, and conflict. So we do always want to be mindful of that whenever the moon is connecting to Mars. What we do want to utilize this energy for is that motivation and go-getter energy, where we can start building, creating, and going after what we want and what we want to create and build for 2024. Now, later on Wednesday evening, that sun gets to 20 degrees. But I want you to keep in mind that the sun is still, the sun is moving away from that trine to Uranus, but it's still there. And so this is where the energy becomes really intense to that T-square to the nodes, which is the choices, the two directions that you're moving in. There's two paths that you're reflecting on or having to make a choice on, or there's a releasing and letting go in one area of life. And I'll be talking about this in the new moon forecast for Capricorn, so make sure you check that out, because this will give you a better idea of the areas of life this is showing up for you. But this is where you still want to be paying attention to your intuition, your intuitive downloads, those aha moments, because of the sun still connecting to Uranus. Now, also on Wednesday, January 10th, we have Venus forming a trine to Chiron. And this is really interesting because there's been this Venus-Chiron story playing out. Venus formed a conjunction to Chiron March of 2023, and then formed a square to Chiron May of 2023. So keep these dates in mind, because you can reflect back to see what was showing up for you around wounds, vulnerabilities, and healing, especially around your self-love, your self-worth, your confidence. And then there was 3 trines when Venus had her retrograde period in Leo. There was a trine the end of June, and then throughout July, August, and then the final trine in September when Venus was direct. So there was a reprogramming of your self-worth, self-love, and confidence throughout the summer. So reflect back to see, how is that showing up for you? What has been reprogrammed and reworked, and what has developed in these parts of you, when it has to do with your self-love and your self-worth. Because now Venus is forming a trine to Chiron again, and Venus is in Sagittarius, which is ruling our belief systems. And there can be something showing up around the healing journey and the healing that has taken place this last year. That is what is going to help you decide on this big major choice or decision or path that you're moving into with this kind of T-square to the nodes, because Venus is trine Chiron at the time of this new moon in Capricorn. So, and I'm also going to get into this energy in that forecast, but there's just a lot of coinciding energies with the new moon in Capricorn that we're having. And we want to take into account that, the decision that needs to be made with this intense T-square. Make sure we're basing that on, all of the amazing changes and transformation that's taken place, especially when it has to do with belief systems, self-worth, self-love, and the healing that you've been through over this last year. Now, once we get to Thursday, we have the new moon in Capricorn. And this is going to be our last new moon in Capricorn with Pluto in Capricorn. So, how has Pluto transformed this area of your life the last 15 years? Kind of reflect back on that. This is the last new moon we're going to have in Capricorn with Pluto. So it's very significant. We've had Pluto in Capricorn for the last 15 years. Now, this new moon is also forming a trine to Uranus, meaning that there is some really powerful sudden change taking place, something very out of the blue, possibly. I wouldn't even really say chaotic. I would just say a really powerful insight or a really powerful moment that is going to kind of shift your direction in some way throughout this new moon in Capricorn journey. Now we have 2 full moons in Capricorn, 6 months from now. I can't remember the exact dates, but there's 2 full moons in Capricorn this year. So, how I look at the new moon charts is an imprint on how these manifestations are going to take place. The journey to get us to the manifestations of the intentions that we're setting at the time of the new moon. Now, the fact that the new moon is forming a trine to Uranus is going to show that there is going to be, things coming in out of the blue, but it is a trine. So it's positive energy. It's not like there's going to be chaotic, unexpected, horrible things showing up. It's going to be, beautiful surprises in a sense. Now, we also have, like I mentioned, that new moon forming an exact T-square to the node. So this is where that intense tension really becomes heightened and at its peak is at this new moon. And this could show that, over the next 6 months, there's going to be a lot of things coming to your awareness, or especially one significant thing showing up where you have a better understanding of, a part of your path or journey that you have to leave behind, that you're ready to move on from, that you're ready to let go of. Or it could mean, something maybe coming back from the past, shifting and changing your direction in some way. But there is a lot of tension here, and there definitely is a choice and decision and path that you're going to have to choose, with this whole new moon journey. And even this week, something maybe coming up that you're having to address. Now, also at the time of this new moon and on Thursday, we have Mars forming a trine to Jupiter. Now, this is super powerful, go-getter energy, like very motivational. Mars being super powerful in Capricorn, and then trining Jupiter, which is expanding all of that. Now, this is earth energy. So this is something that we can create in our physical reality. And that's why I say, this is amazing supportive energy to start building, to start creating something very foundational, sustainable, that can last, not just 2024, but beyond, whether it's business, relationships, whatever that case is for you, this is where you have a lot of supportive energy for that. And we have Jupiter and Mars forming a sextile to Saturn, which is the ruler of this new moon, which is what is bringing in that energy of long-lasting, foundational, sustainable type energy. So, we want to be paying attention this week to kind of what is showing up. Like, how are you feeling? What are you feeling the urge to create? What direction are you want to pay attention to those urges that you're feeling, especially because of that trine to Uranus. That could be those aha moments or just those intuitive urges, or motivational pulls to start building something. Pay attention to what that is for you this week, because that's really going to give you an idea of what to start creating and building for 2024. Now, Thursday evening, we're going to have the moon form a conjunction to Pluto in Capricorn. And so this can feel very intense. This can feel very powerful. This can feel very psychic. So pay attention to Thursday evening, what is showing up for you, especially, coming off of that new moon in Capricorn and then forming a conjunction to Pluto at that 29 degrees. This can also be, because it is that final degree of Capricorn, and because Pluto is getting ready to exit Capricorn, this can even be like an understanding of what you're finished with, what you're done with in this Capricorn journey, what you're ready to let go of in order to start this new path. So yeah, pay attention on Thursday evening. This is also really good psychic energy with Pluto connecting to, or the moon connecting to Pluto. I would even meditate Thursday evening, because we're coming off of that new moon, and then the moon is connecting to Pluto. So it's a lot of really powerful energy, and even meditating, there could be, something showing up for you to help you with this whole T-square energy to the nodes and the choice and the direction that you're having to move in. Now, once we get to Friday, there's not a lot of major aspects, but there is the moon in Aquarius, and I almost feel like the sun is moving off of that T-square at this point, moving to 21 degrees. So the tension on this direction and choice and decision that needs to be made throughout the week, I feel like too, even like if you meditate with the moon with Pluto, it's like something can come in for you, and then the moon in Aquarius is like all of these ideas on, okay, I know I need to move in this direction, I know I want to create this, I know I want to build this. Like the moon in Aquarius can be very innovative, very creative, very kind of wanting to build and create. So that's really interesting. Now, once we get to Saturday, we have Mercury re-entering Capricorn. And so if we touch on this Mercury retrograde energy for a minute, Mercury's been retrograde, I believe Mercury's stationed December 13th. So we've been in this Mercury retrograde energy since the end of November, because we have the pre-shadow period, then we have the retrograde period, and then we have the post-shadow period. Now, this is in the early degrees of Capricorn and the late degrees of Sagittarius. Mercury stationed retrograde at 8 degrees of Capricorn and stationed direct at 22 degrees of Sagittarius. So there is something that you're rethinking and reevaluating in this area of life. There's going to be more clarity now and a better understanding and knowing on the direction that you want to move in when it has to do with whatever you've been rethinking and reevaluating and changing in the Sagittarius and Capricorn area. Now we're moving into the Capricorn area. So you may have already kind of put the pieces together in the Sagittarius area of your life and got that figured out. Now we're moving into Capricorn. And so we are still in post shadow, but now that Mercury is entering Capricorn, the Capricorn area of your life, there's going to be more clarity around that. Now on Sunday, we will have the moon in Pisces forming a conjunction to Saturn. And Saturn is still in this sextile to Jupiter. What is interesting now, though, is that we have Mercury in Capricorn, Mars in Capricorn. We have the sun at 23 degrees approaching that conjunction to Pluto, which we will be getting into next week. That's really big. And I'll probably be making a separate forecast going into the significant energies of January and February, because the January and February are really big months astrologically, where we have a lot of supportive energy to, like I've mentioned before, start building, start creating, start moving forward with what we want to build for 2024 and beyond. Now, the sun forming a conjunction to Pluto at the 29 degrees, and then Pluto and the sun entering Aquarius pretty much together, and then conjunct at the 0 degree point. This is where we had the Saturn Jupiter conjunction December 2020. So this is really significant. There can be a lot exposed, collectively energies, and even just coming into 2024. I mean, look at all of the disclosure that's already taken place, and we're in the second week of the year, and look at all the information that's already come out. I'm not sure if you guys know about it. Comment below. Let me know if you'd want me to do like news forecasts and stuff like around the astrology. Let me know that, because that would be something maybe that would be interesting. But yeah, there's been a lot of disclosure coming out with Epstein, stuff like that. And so there's going to be a lot more of that. There's going to be a lot of information coming out this year, but especially January and February. And the sun and Pluto forming a conjunction, that's disclosure. That is exposure. That is things that were hidden in the past coming to light, secrets revealed. Like the sun is shining a light on Pluto, and not just in Capricorn, but in Aquarius. And Capricorn rules government, authority, corporations, and Aquarius rules the collective, the people, humanity. So it's a very different energy where maybe, you know, there's a lot being exposed that was hidden from the people and humanity. So we would definitely want to be watching for that, you know, more disclosure. But what I was going to say is, you know, the moon forming a conjunction to Saturn in Pisces, and Saturn ruling all of this Capricorn energy, this is where you can really start to feel, you know, what it is that you want to build, what it is that you want to create. And now the sun is moving off of that T-square to the node. So whatever took place throughout the week, whatever was brought to your awareness, now is where you can start to almost feel emotionally on, okay, I know I want to move in this direction, or I know I have to move in this direction, or I know what is no longer good for me. I know what I have to release and let go of. So throughout the week this week, I want you all to just have the awareness and pay attention to what is showing up for you. You know, is there a decision? Is there a choice? Is there something coming to your awareness that maybe you need to release and let go of something? Pay attention to your intuition, because we've got that sun trine to Uranus. Pay attention to those aha moments. Because there is going to be a decision. And then also keep in mind that the intentions you set this week with that new moon in Capricorn, you know, over the next 6 months, there may be some releasing, some letting go, and decisions on a new path or direction. So I hope this helps you navigate the energy for this week. Thank you all so much for joining me, and I will connect with you all in the next one.